Hey all, welcome to today's video. In this session, we will be learning about the properties of real numbers and how they apply to real life situations. Real numbers are everywhere around us, from shopping to calculations. So let's explore the properties in a practical way with real life examples. Before we get started, let's recall the real numbers. Real numbers include all the numbers you are familiar with: natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers. In short, any number that you can find on the number line is a real number. These are the crucial 6 properties of real numbers. The first one is closure, the second one is commutative, third one is associative, fourth one is identity and inverse, and finally distributive property. Each property has two sectors. The first one is addition and the another one is multiplication. It states that when you add or multiply any two real numbers, the result is always a real number. Imagine you are at a store and you buy 3 apples for rupees 20 and 5 apples for rupees 30. When you add the total cost of both, you get a real number. The total is always still a real number. Let's move on to the multiplication of closure property. Suppose you buy 4 books and each book cost 100. The total cost will be, here you have to multiply the two real numbers, the number of books and the price gives you the another real number. Additive property tells us that the order of addition or multiplication doesn't affect the result. Example of addition. Imagine you are spending your money in two stores. In one, you spend rupees 50 and in the other, you spend rupees 30. Whether you spend the 50 first or the 30 first, the total amount you spend is still the same, is 80. It is also a real number. Example of multiplication. Suppose you are organizing a party and you have 5 gift boxes, each containing 6 chocolates. Whether you calculate the total number of chocolates by multiplying 5 into 6 or 6 into 5, which means A into B or B into A, the result is always the same. Associative property. The associative property tells us that when we add or multiply more than two real numbers, the way we group them doesn't change the result. Example of addition. Imagine you have rupees 10, rupees 20 and rupees 30. Whether you add 10 plus 20 first or 20 plus 30 first, which means A plus B first or B plus C first, the total amount will always be the same. Example of multiplication. If you are buying 2 pack of pens, with each pack containing 4 pens and the price of each pen is rupees 5, the total cost is the same whether you multiply the number of pens first or the price of each pens first. You will get a real number. The another one is identity property. The identity property says that there is a special number that does not change other number when added or multiplied. Example, if you have rupees 100 and you don't spend any money, your total amount remains the same. Here, 0 is the identity for addition, which means 100 plus 0 equal to 100. This indicates A plus 0 is equal to A. Example of multiplication. If you have 7 packets of biscuits and each packet contains 1 biscuit, your total number of biscuits remains the same. Here 1 is the identity for multiplication. 7 cross 1 is equal to 7. In both cases, adding 0 or multiplying by 1 leaves the number unchanged. The next property is inverse property. The inverse property states that for every number there exists another number that, when combined with the original number, the results in the identity element, which means 0 for addition and 1 for multiplication. Example of addition inverse. If you have rupees 30, the additive inverse is rupees minus 30. This means if you spend rupees 30, you are back to 0, which is the identity for addition. Example of multiplication. Suppose you want to divide 100 equally between 5 people. The multiplicative inverse of 5 is 1 by 5. So 100 cross 1 by 5 is equal to 20. You are dividing 100 by 5 people and each person gets 20, which means the answer is not equal to 0. The another one is distributive property. Distributive property tell us how multiplication works with addition and subtraction. Example, let's say you buy 3 pens and each pen costs rupees 5 and rupees 7. Using the distributive property, we can calculate, instead of adding rupees 5 and rupees 7 first and then multiplying by 3, you can distribute the multiplication across the terms and you still get the same total cost. Finally, we are in a summary area. The first one is closure property, which means adding or multiplying the real numbers results in a real numbers. Commutative property. The order of addition or multiplication does not affect the result. Associative property. The grouping of number does not change the result. Identity property. 0 and 1 don't change other number when added or multiplied. Inverse property. Every real number has an opposite to bring back into 0. For addition, it will be 0. For multiplication, it will be 1. Distributive property. Multiplication distributes over the addition and subtraction. These properties are all around us, whether we are shopping, cooking, or even organizing a party. Our understanding them help us to simplify and solve problems in real life. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more maths lessons. See you next time.